Hello everyone, welcome back. Savage is here, coming back with part 11 of What If Deku Had a Stand. Now, in the last part, it was the first part of the sport festival, and now it's the second part, which is the Cavalry battle. And Midoriya start, well, building up his team and having on his team Oraka and Mei Hatsume. Still needing another member in his team, which is, he thought about it for a minute before someone approaching him being, well, Tokiyami. And now let's just continue. As Izuku turning around saying, "Tokuyami, you wanna join my team?" "But why?" As Tokuyami said, "Well, let's just say," as Dark Shadow appeared, "we have a lot in common." As Izuku smiled a bit and summoned his own King card, as King said, "Well, isn't this getting more and more interesting?" As Izuku said, "Well then, you can join us." As Tokuyami said, "Well, thank you. So what's the plan? Who will be on the top and who will be on the ground?" As Izuku said, "Well, you will be in front, Mei Hatsume and Oraka will be on the back, and I'll be on the top, and we will gonna focus on defend. We don't need to collect any points. As long as we can avoid attacks for 15 minutes, we'll be fine. Although, I don't think that Bakugo is just gonna lay low. I know very clearly that he'll gonna try attack me after what King told him. But still, do you hear me, Master? Will he try that? Master. Oh, am I kidding? It's Bakugo. Of course he'll try it. Still, Todoroki, will he also try attacking me? I mean, he wanna prove that he's the strongest, but... Master! As Izuku immediately jumped back saying, "What is it, King?" As King Card said, "I was trying to tell you that I have a plan." As Izuku said, "A plan?" As King Card said, "Yes, a well-prepared plan if you want. But since my ideas are not heard here, maybe I should keep it to myself." As Izuku said, No, come on, what's your plan? I'm happy to hear any suggestions." As King said, "Well, in this situation," as King coming closer into Midoriya's ear and start whispering. And Izuku's eyes just widening and he's like, "This is very risky, and you know that." As King Car said, "What's a gambler without taking a risk? After all, isn't this what's the whole thing all about? Taking risks? Now let's take these risks. If we did it, we're gonna appear as better than the rest. It will be a last-minute win, where everybody's jaw will be dropped and they will always sit on the edge of their seats. It will be the absolute perfect ending for the second part of the sport festival. Wouldn't you agree?" As Izuku thinking about it a bit and said, "I'm not sure. It seemed like a cheap way to win. Like a really cheap way to win." As King Card said, "But still illegal. Remember what Midnight said, as long as you're using your quirk and you do not leave the area, anything is available. Even the most trickiest and the most dirtiest tricks in the book, which is I'm planning on using every single one of them." As Izuku thinking of it saying, "Alright, we can do your idea. Although I'm still not sure about it." As King Car said, "Believe me, Master, I won't disappoint you. I didn't give you this idea unless I knew very well that I'm capable of such a feat. Now, let's prepare, shall we?" As King Card disappeared, and Izuku taking a calm, deep breath. As he said, "May?" As May said, "Yes?" As Izuku asked a question, "Do you have a glue?" As she raising an eyebrow and said, "A glue? Why exactly a glue? That seemed random." As Izuku said, "I need one. I have a little plan in my mind." As Mei Hatsume said, "Alright, fine. I sure have a glue. After all, I have to take care of my babies. That's why I always carry with me my tools." As Izuku said, "Thanks." As Izuku taking the glue. "Oh, and here, if you want a flashbang." As she gave him a flash bomb, and Izuku said, "Well, it's not what I expected, but sure, I'll keep it." As Izuku put it in his pocket. And now Midnight said, "Well, is everyone already made their team? I hope so, because the time is up. Now, back to you, President Mike." As President Mike said, "Thank you, Midnight. Now, in the first part of the sport festival, we all had our jaw drops and we all immediately got our pants down because what Mitsuko Midoriya have done. He pulled out of nowhere a new ability that nobody knew about. That's what I call a plus ultra right there. Wouldn't you say that, mommy man? As he looking at Aizawa, and Aizawa said, well, maybe you're right to some extent. Although, right now he's having a wanted sign on his back. Everyone will gonna come for his head. As President Mike said, that's a very dark way to say it. But either way, that's what it is. Keeping the number 1 spot is harder than achieving it. And that's what Midoriya will gonna face right now. So will he overcome the obstacles and rise up into the top, or will he just fall back down into the bottom of the stairs? I'm excited. I don't know about you, Aizawa. I don't know about you people, but I'm sure getting excited on this. As President Mike said, now, count down with me. No, seriously, count down with me. 3, 2, 1. Roll and roll, boys! As immediately, Izuku with his team, everyone starts rushing towards him, no questions asked, and Midoriya's in his mind, just as expected. Alright then, as Izuku immediately taking a lot of cards out of his pockets and throw them all around. After that, Izuku scream on the top of his lung, saying, "Gamblers, Fasco!" As his car is just still in the middle of the air, some of them on the ground, some of them just stayed up in the air. While everyone is wondering, how is he keeping his cars in the middle of the air? Before Izuku smiled into Araka said, "Thanks, Araka." As Araka said, "Anytime. We used this technique before at Bakugo when we were in our Heroes vs. Villains exam. I didn't know that we were gonna use it again." As Izuku said, "Yeah, it's a very useful technique." As he said in his mind, although that if I used it, King Card will be away from me. But still, the dark shadow of Tokuyami will be able to protect us, so it doesn't matter. As well, immediately some people trying to come closer into Midoriya before King Card teleported to one of the cars in the air, and the guy said, "What the?" But King Card immediately just pushing him, just grabbing his headband and throwing it away, saying, "Useless. You're truly useless." As he taken a card and said, "Have this as a little surprise for you." As he throw it into his face, and immediately the guy managed to dodge the card, but he accidentally tripped, falling on the ground, getting himself eliminated out of the match. As Izuku said, "King Card, focus on defense, not attacking." As he said, "I'm trying to have my fun around here. I want to see who's the strongest or the weakest. I want to see all their quirks, to see what their capabilities. Don't you have an awe and wonder when you see someone using his quirk, Midoriya? Master, don't you wonder, don't you want to know?" As Izuku said, "This is not the time to collect infos." As King Card said, "Alright, I understand. Excuse my behaviors." As before he continues, suddenly King Card was about to get an explosion from his back before Tokuyami sending Dark Shadow to protect King Card. As Tokuyami's Dark Shadow taking the hit, and a bit crying, while Bakugo said, "God damn it!" As King Card said, "A backstab? This is so low, even for you, Katsuki Bakugo." As Bakugo said, "Oh, shut up!" As he throw another explosion before King Card teleport away behind Bakugo, and said, "You're very, very, very aggressive. More than usual. Is it because what I called you? Dog?" As Bakugo immediately thrown an explosion into his back, saying, "You shut up!" As King Card said, "No, I don't think I will." As immediately Izuku calling back on King Card, saying, "King Card, stop messing around." As King Card said, "Excuse me, I can't handle myself." As Tokuyami said, "Midoriya, please control your quirk. We can't afford to waste any power here." As Izuku said, "Right." As Mei Hatsume said, "Alright. People start surrounding us, maybe we should use that jet?" As Izuku said, "Yes." As immediately when people start surrounding Midoriya, Izuku immediately press on a button by the side of his jetpack to fly up in the air, to float a bit and fall away from the people. as immediately the people trying to follow Midoriya, but however, if they try to go so fast, they're gonna hit the cards in the middle of the air that Midoriya have placed. Which is, let me remind you if you guys didn't forget, these cards as sharp as a knife could ever be. It can cut through metal, a stone, and well, air so easily, like knife cutting through butter. Besides being indestructible, so nobody can really run so fast. Izuku have paralyzed all their movements. They'll need to be careful or they might injure themselves. So Izuku, by all means, he made a trap around himself that nobody can come close to, which is a very strong attack. That's his ultimate move, Gambler's Fesco. An attack and a defense at the same time. As President Mike said, well, it seems that the people are pointing for the number 1, Izuku Midoriya with the 10 million points, and it's already been 2 minutes away from the clock. What is that attack, Aizawa? I don't know about it. Can you explain? As Aizawa said, well, Izuku Midoriya, when he turns something into a card, it's indestructible. However, for the sharpness parts, it seems that people getting injured whenever they touching them, or at least the edge of the cards. I don't know about that part. Maybe it's something that he got with his awakening of his quirk. As President Mike said, how amazing! A student from UA and from Class 1A to be more precise have got an awakening of a quirk, and now he having a trap all surrounding him. Now let's see who will gonna manage to take the 10 million points out of him. Because from my point of view, I don't see that happening. Do you, Mr. Aizawa? As Aizawa said, do not underestimate the rest of the students, President Mike. You don't know what they're hiding. It's not only Midoriya that's hiding secrets. As back down on the field, Izuku's still inside his, card zone, you could say. While everyone trying to come closer, but the moment that they try, King Card and Toguyami's Dark Shadow get them immediately and start attacking them. With their movement paralyzed and they cannot move so freely, it's a very hard fight. As now, Izuku just still waiting in the middle of the arena, whilst King Card said in his mind, Master, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but when are we going to put our plan into motion? As Izuku said, don't worry. It's soon enough. As Izuku is still looking left and right to see that Bakugo still trying to get him. As Bakugo said, come here, Deku! As Izuku said, god damn it, why did you do that, King Card? Did you have really to annoy him like that? As King Card said, I had to prove my superiority. As Izuku said, you and your superiority. As Bakugo immediately just dashing from above, dodging the card swiftly before trying to throw an explosion into Midoriya, which Izuku managed to dodge. And before when he dodged, he needed to jump off of the back of Tokuyami and Uraka and Mei Hatsume. However, before he managed to touch the ground, King Card teleported behind Midoriya, throws him back on the back of Tokuyami. As Izuku said, thanks. As Tokuyami said, be careful now, Midoriya. As Bakugo flying into the back of his own team, being Sero, Mina, and Kirishima. After Sero grabbing him by his tape, as he said, you okay, man? As Bakugo said, let's go after that Deku! As Kirishima said, are you sure? We can't really come any closer. Not even my hardening can go through that. Which is very weird for me, saying that. As Bakugo said, I don't care about your hardening, Stoneface. Get there. I don't care if you have to die for me. As Kirishima said, alright, now you're getting over. As Bakugo just continues screaming on them to attack Midoriya. But before he managed to go attacking, someone grabbing his headband from his head. And when Bakugo looked back, he see one of the students of Class 1B, being none other than Monoma. As Monoma said, focus on the big number 1, forgetting the little numbers below you. It's a very, very stupid strategic way of winning, don't you think? But what should I expect out of you, Katsuki Bakugo, the victim of the sludge villain attack, and the loser of a lot of fights. Tell me, how does it feel to be always the victim, the sludge villain, and the last time you were in this race, you were also the victim, and now this, you're still the victim? When are you going to play the role of the hero, or doesn't suit you that much? As Bakugo getting angrier and angrier, and while Monoma said, "But if you want, you can keep attacking your number one. I don't mind, but I'm gonna take this," as he starts, running away on the top of his own team, while Bakugo said, "Kirishima," as Kirishima said, "Yeah, Bakugo," as Bakugo said, "Change of plans. We're gonna kill that first," as immediately Kirishima said, "Hey, your language," as Bakugo said, "I do not give a fuck about my language," as they all start going after Monoma, while Izuku said in his mind, "Well, at least they left my back." But before Midoriya continue, suddenly in front of him, he see the team of, none other than the Son of Endeavor, Todoroki, with his team being made out of Ida, Momoyaruzu, and Denki Kamonari, as all four of them are standing in front of Midoriya, while Todoroki have made a wall of ice to separate Midoriya and him from the rest of the teams, so nobody can interfere with their fights. As right now Izuku staring into the eyes of Todoroki, while Todoroki staring into the eyes of Midoriya. As right now in front of them, since the cars are still having zero gravity on them and still surrounding the area around Midoriya, Ida have noticed a spot, a straight line that he could go through to get into Midoriya's headband, as he said, "Todoroki, I have an idea." As Todoroki said, "What is it? I'm open for any ideas." As Ida said, "I can see an opening. I'm gonna dash immediately into it. You need to take the headband immediately, understood?" As Todoroki said, "But what do you mean?" As Ida said, "Please embrace yourselves. This will be a very hard push." As Todoroki said, "Wait, to Ida, what are you?" But before he continued, Izuku said, "Ida is about to do something, King." But before he continued, suddenly Ida said, "Turbo burst," as he dashes forward on a freaking high speed that Midoriya couldn't even cut with his eyes, as Tokuyami, Uraka, Mei Hatsume, seeing that Izuku have lost his 10 million headband, while Mr. Todoroki holding it in his hand, as Todoroki, having a surprised look on his eyes as he said, "Well, that was surprising, but I managed to grab it." As Ida said, "Good," and Izuku looking back into Ida and Todoroki, while King Card said, "He took it. Excellent." As Izuku said, "I don't know what do you mean by that, King, but let's just hope that your plan will work." As Ida said to Todoroki that he will not gonna be any help now, he cannot move anymore. His turbo burst have took everything out of him. His legs right now useless. He will not be able to use his quirk for the rest of the match. The only thing that he can do is just run or walk. As right now, Todoroki looking back into Midoriya that's still staring at him, while Tokuyami said, "Midoriya, the headband!" As Uraka said, "What should we do? We should take some points." As Izuku said, "No, leave them go." As immediately, Tokuyami, Mei Hatsume, Uraka, all of them said, "What? But they took our points, as Izuku said, "Doesn't matter. We don't need it." As Mei Hatsume said, "So what, are we going after more people with?" As Izuku said, "No, we're not. We're just gonna stay still for the rest of the minutes to end." As Uraka said, "Midoriya, are you okay? Because I'm not understanding clearly what you're trying to..." As Izuku said, "Please guys, trust me. Me and King Card have a plan, and it will be a perfect one. It will gonna ensure our victory. Just stay still with me." As, Mei said, "Well, I don't know what you're planning, but it seemed like a crazy idea. I'm all up for it." As Tokuyami said, "I don't know either. However, since you're the leader, I cannot argue with you. As Uraka said, alright then. As well, Izuku, Uraka, Mei Hatsume, and Tokuyami just standing there, not doing anything, with King Card still floating by the side of Midoriya, spinning around his staff, snapping his fingers, looking through his cards, doing anything to, well, pleasure him a bit. While in the with President Mike and Aizawa, everyone is just noticing that Izuku lost his 10 million point, but he's not even bothering to go get more points, or not even bothering to take them back from Todoroki, which is even surprised Todoroki himself. Why is he not attacking him? Is there something that he lost? Is there something that he misses? But in the camera's room, President Mike said, why isn't Midoriya trying to take the 10 million points away from Todoroki? Do you have any idea about that, mummy man? As Aizawa said, I don't know what Midoriya is going through or what's he having in his head. However, if he's not trying to take anything, or to take any points, or even try, then it's either one of two possibilities. One, he have a plan, or two, he just gave up. Which is I highly doubt it. As President Mike said, well, I don't know about it, because there are still like 2 minutes left of this Cavalry battle, and if he didn't get any points soon enough, or at least points that will get him into the top, he'll be losing. As immediately back into the arena, Mei Hatsume said, 2 minutes left. Should we do something now? As Izuku said, not yet. As Uraka said, alright, Midoriya, you're really making me get very nervous now. What should we do? Please don't tell me that we are just gonna lose. As Izuku said, we're not gonna lose. The victory of ours has been ensured even before the match starts. As Tokuyami said, what are you talking about? As Izuku said, he'll understand soon. As Bakugo, while still running after Monoma, he noticed that Midoriya is just standing there, not even bothering to take any points, which is really confuses him. He doesn't have his points. He knows that Todoroki have his points, and yet he's not even bothering to take one more, not even a singular point. To the point that Baku screamed at Midoriya saying, deku! As Izuku just looking into Baku while Baku said, what the hell are you doing? Why are you not trying? As Izuku said, don't tell me how to fight my fights, Katsuki. As Baku said, you're not taking any points and I'm not letting you lose this quickly. I want to pummel you in the final matches. So you either, as King Card appeared and said, listen here, you wild dog. You do not order my master. Go back and play with the rest of the pups of yours until you may be able to finally get into the last matches. Let me and my master take the rest. We have a much more better plan than yours. Instead of running after our tail like a stupid dog, which is you are, we actually think and strategize. So you better go play your little games while we will gonna do our own. As Baku getting angry, well, he wishes that he could attack Midoriya. However, since Midoriya doesn't have any points, and since it's illegal to try push someone off of their horse, which is basically the team of his, it will gonna disqualify Baku, so he just left to fly after Monoma, continuing his barrage of explosions. Until President Mike and the mic said, only 16 seconds left! You better hurry up, students! Just a couple spots been left on the screen. As, well, Uraka is just panicking, saying, oh my god, 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 oh my god. As King Card said, please, Miss Uchako Uraka, calm down. Calm your nervous. Because if you get nervous a lot, you may float accidentally and ruin everything. As Uraka said, I can't be calm. We're just standing menacingly. As Izuku said, I'm not sure about the menacing part, but the standing part, yeah, we're just standing. As Tokuyami said, I don't know what's your plan, Midoriya. However, I have full faith in you. And I believe that you have already ensured our victory. As Izuku said, thanks for the trust, Tokuyami. Although, all what we need is just 30 seconds. Maybe even 10. As well, Tokuyami said, I'll wait for the rest seconds. As Mei Hatsumi said, alright, this is really getting on my nerves, which is really getting me excited. Come on, what's your plan? Tell me! As Izuku said, just a bit more. Keep your eye on Todoroki. As all of them just keeping their eyes on Todoroki, while Todoroki trying to defend himself to protect his 1 million point. As President Mike and the mic said, alright, 15 seconds left, 40, 30, as he starts counting down while Midoriya is still having his eyes on, well, Todoroki. And President Mike continues saying, 10, 9, as he continued counting down while Midoriya said, keep your eyes open, keep your eyes open, as President Mike said, 5, as Izuku said, now, and suddenly, Todoroki feeling something grabbing into his 10 million headband, and when he looked, he see on his back, King Card grabbing it off. Not only the 10 million headband, but all of his headbands. As Todoroki just said, what the, before King Card said, too bad, Todoroki, you won't make it to the finals. As Todoroki tried to, subconsciously, he accidentally shot a fire wave into King Card, but King Card have teleported back into Midoriya, and Midoriya grabbed the headbands off of King Card's hands, putting them on his head before President Mike said, 1! Everyone, stop! The match is over! What the hell happened here? As everyone looking down to see Todoroki with an absolute shocked look on his face, panicking. Bakugo was looking at this, wondering what the hell happened. Uraraka, Mei Hatsumi, even Tokuyami are relieved, but at the same time asking what the hell just happened. Even President Mike is asking what the hell just happened. For a minute, he was not there. For the second minute, he was there. What the? Can you explain? As Aizawa said, I don't have an explanation. As President Mike said, that's not the answer that I was wishing for. As right now with Tokuyami, he asked Midoriya, said, what happened, Midoriya? As Izuku jumped off of the back of Tokuyami, as he said, let's just say, as he holding the bottle of glue that Mei Hatsumi gave him and said, I used a little magic trick. As Mei Hatsumi, what do you mean? As with Todoroki, that right now still touching his forehead, not believing what happened, start like jump down from the back of, Ida, and Ida said, Todoroki, what happened? As Todoroki said, I'm not sure, I am, as he turned to face Midoriya, and he was about to go into him before, well, Mrs. Yaruzu said, Todoroki, what's that on your back? And when Todoroki said, what's on my back? As he take off his, gym uniform jacket to see that Izuku have stuck a card into his jacket using a glue. As he said, wait a minute. As he remembered, when Todoroki have took the headband from Midoriya, when Ida used his turbo burst, that was when King Card have touched his back. And that moment, it wasn't by accident, it was planned. Izuku and King Card knew that, Ida have had something to hide. Izuku knew that Ida will not just gonna join Todoroki's team without pulling any super move. And King Card was more sure of that than him. And they just prepared a plan by sticking a card into the back of Todoroki to use it to, in the last seconds, grab the 10 million headbands and the rest to ensure their victory without even needing to throw a single punch. As Todoroki is just breathing heavily, with his eyes shaken, not believing what the hell just happened. How could it possibly be? How could he be tricked so easily? And especially that it was more trickier because Izuku card that was stuck into Todoroki's bag didn't have any weight into it, thanks to Uraka's gravity quirk. And now Uraraka and Mei Hasumi Tokuyami are just all happy while Uraraka said, "For a minute I thought that we were gonna lose. Thank God." As Izuku said, "Yeah." As he said in his mind, "Although I'm not happy with this win. I feel it's very cheap." As King Card said, "Cheer up, Master. We won. Doesn't matter the way or what did we had to do to win. We won, which make it all the more perfect." As Izuku said, "Well, I guess so." And now, President Mike said, I do not believe what my eyes just saw. Did you saw that, Aizawa?" Well, not very clearly. I still have bandages on my eye." "Well, you should have saw that. Todoroki have right now officially out of the match." As Baku is also shocked by this. Until President Mike said, "Now, for the final matches, before we start them, everyone go take a rest, take a breathe out, and, well, enjoy your time, because my head starts hurting me out here, out of all these plot twists. Well, we'll come back to you after the rest." As President Mike just closing his mic, and everyone going to take a rest, while Uraraka talking with Tokuyami and Mei Hatsume and Ida about what happened, Uraraka wondering, where is Midoriya? And right now, far away, inside a tunnel of the Coliseum, or the area of the sport festival, Izuku standing there with Todoroki staring into him, while Izuku globing his throat saying, "Why do I feel like I genuinely have screwed up now?" As Todoroki said, "Midoriya, I have a question." And this is where we'll leave it off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what do you think about this part, and what do you think will gonna happen in the next part, and what do you think about Mr. King Card's plan? A very tricky plan, if I would say so of myself, and a dirty one on that. Well, either way, I don't have anything more to say then. Savage was here.